Welcome into the show, everyone. Welcome into the Furniss Fast Lane, facts not feelings. And before we get started, I got to first off, Jeff, you are 100% the first fan and number one fan and everything in between. Thank you so much, buddy. Are you heading to NADA out of curiosity? Am I going to see you there? Love to see you. If not, let me know for sure. Jeff, sure. Other Jeff too. We got Jeff squared here. You were so close. Just missed it by that much, buddy. And we got Peter. Peter, you're usually the first here. There's that battle there, and you're kind of slacking a little bit. So Jeff, I will raise you that I went to sleep around probably 2:00. So I was working. I wish I could say I was having fun, but I was working and then was up by like 5. So I'm right there with you, buddy. Been up and working for a long time. Jeff, sure, yes. And then we've got Peter camping out on Brookstone. Wrong. Well, you know what? Before we go any further, Peter, because this show's going to go off the rail, we're going into NADA. My brain is fried. As you can see, I'm here by myself. Jeff, you guys are Jeff. I'm not Jeff. Shawn reached out to me this morning and is wickedly sick, like to the point that he can't even come on the show. So he's very, very sick. But I have his takeaways. So before we get there, let's talk a little bit like Peter, what you just said here. So for those that know, I live in downtown Chicago. And when you live in a high-rise in downtown Chicago, you have doormen and doorwomen and concierge and what have you that will make it sure that certain people can't get to the door, right? Okay, that's normal. So I get down, y'all to know that I'm a bit of I work out a lot and I live at the gym. And so it's been some really, really long days. So I'm leaving the gym probably at 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. And I get in the elevator and there's certain elevator etiquette that everyone should actually use. And then there's the stalker etiquette that no one should use. So I get into the elevator and I've got my workout attire on. And first off, when you get in the elevator, you got to sit, one person's here, you're all in the corner. No one gets close together. That's number one thing. So I get in, I'm in a corner and there are two other guys in the other corners. And on the corner of my hand, I've got my music going pretty good here. And I can see this guy like eyeballing me. And it's like, when I say it's Jeffrey Dahmer stalkerish, it was the guy doesn't blink. I'm on the 44th floor. So our gym's on the 12th floor. So I've got 30 flights more or less with people stopping. And the guy, I look over and I was like, dude, what the hell is wrong with you? And so 100%, he doesn't blink. He's just staring at me. And so I look again, I smile. I was like, hi. Guy doesn't say anything, just stares at me the entire time. So Peter, it could be worse. So I'm okay if you camp at my doorsteps, but the psycho in the elevator a couple days ago, not okay with him. So that was way off the tracks in that one. We've got Ian. Ian, I will hopefully see you at NAD as well, buddy. I'm going to be, in fact, I'll throw it up here right now while we're talking about this. We've got, wait for it. We're going to be broadcasting live from the dealer funnel booth at 8345, I believe is the booth number. Come see us. The spots are all filled up at this point, but I'd still love to see you all. We're broadcasting Friday and Saturday from like 9:30 until noonish, I want to say, something like that, on Friday and Saturday. We're going to test how well everyone is doing at 9 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. Friday, I think will be okay, but Saturday might be a little dicey on who actually shows up to those interviews at ADA. So, Ian, I hope to see you there as well. It looks like you are you're in a completely different area. We're 8,000, so you're like way over other direction there. Jeffrey Villa, I'll be at NA singing happy. Dude, I will 100% be there. Like, you let me know when you're singing and I will be there. I'll bring balloons, man. I will be there in full costume. Jordan, I'm here for the NSYNC tickets. Jordan, you say that, but when Ortega decides to get on here, maybe we can go with his $5 million Mr. Beast giveaway, because I don't have the NSYNC tickets, unfortunately. But Jordan, I think I'm going to see you there. At least I hope I am, buddy. Hope I'm going to see. We've got boy band tickets. I don't know how we got those boy band thing. Jordan, I once again, I credit you on this one for taking the shows off the rails. And Russell, yes. So Russell, Shawn was supposed to be on the show. He is deathly ill. He got sick like 2 days ago. And I got an email this morning, bright and early, saying that he is not going to make it. But I do have his takeaway, so we will get to that. But yeah, everyone there's a lot of crazy sicknesses going on right now. It is, and it's like doing damage to a lot of people. So be safe out there. Obviously going to NAD, I'm sure we're all going to come back sick. So that's, knowing me, you guys know me well enough, I will come back from NAD 100% without a voice. So it's good that we're taking a few weeks off, because I will have zero voice, I'm sure, for the next month after NADA. Amy, super excited to see you. And I'm glad that we figured out the difference between 38 and 83. So we should figure that out now. I was like, I know it's Friday. And if I get one more request for someone to do a demo or to, hey, do you want to buy the NADA list or whatever? Can we please stop that? If I was interested, I'd reach out to you. I would. You have my number. Reach out to me. So, Amy, I'm really excited to see you there. Ian, obviously stoked to see you, buddy. And we've got Russell saying hello, Peter, Jordan, Jeff, and Ian, and everyone else is on the show. We're just going to keep that. Just kidding. I'm here for Brooke. Jordan, thanks so much, buddy. Thanks so much. And by the way, I just keep killing it, bud. I love seeing everything you're doing right now, and it's just really cool to see everything. So, Russell, I promise we are getting to the show here. We're going to recap the episode of Shawn and I, even though Shawn is here in spirit, not here physically, but he is here in spirit. And Russell, yes, oh my in general, and only going for Jordan. So yes, that is a fun little thing. Someone asked me, like, are you going to be around this weekend? And I go, well, I am. I actually fly on Monday to Vegas, and so I'll be in Vegas and then head to New Orleans. But I go, I got to figure out the shoe situation. Like, I'm gone for 10 days. That's a lot of freaking Jordans. Like, I don't even know how. Shoe case is not going to suffice. Like, I don't know how I'm going to get everything there, let alone I'm going from Monday here in Chicago, the high, I think like -7, going to Vegas, which is a little warmer, like at 50, which is actually, that's a lot warmer compared to what I'm going to, coming from. And New Orleans is like 40-ish. And then I'm in Salt Lake after that. So it's like trying to pack for multiple different seasons in one. So, and then pack podcast equipment on top of that. So it'll be fun. I will do my best to not let anyone down on my Jordan gear and my Jordan swag. So yeah, I'm excited to see everyone. Like I said, I will be at the dealer funnel booth Monday, or sorry, not Monday. That's not Monday. It's Friday and Saturday, 9 to like 1-ish. And then also the DEP booth, I'm doing an interview with Eliana there. And that's like pretty close, I think, to where the dealer funnel booth is. And I want to say that's at like 3:30. Don't quote me on that. That's like around like 3:30. So stop by. Love to see everyone. But with that, let's jump into this bad boy. So Shawn Armorer, man, he is, if you don't know Shawn, he is just, I don't know if there are enough adjectives to describe him. Larry Feldman and I were talking last night just about how incredible he is, and his son Mason and everything between. He's just one of those people that yes, Peter, I'm definitely going to have to go check out iPack and get the free Jordans for sure. But Shawn is he's just good people. Like, I don't remember the exact time that we met, or I'm sure we met on social media, and from there things, we met in person at some point. But I just remember the very first time that I was introduced to him, whether it was, I'm sure it was digitally. I was like, man, this dude, he's pretty kick-ass. I like this guy. Like, he needs to be on the show. So this has probably been, we've been doing the show, 3-4 years now. So it's been probably 3 years in the making, trying to get him on the show, just with crazy schedules and what have you. So anytime he speaks, like, he's just a wealth of knowledge, and like the words that come out of his mouth, I'm like, dude, that needs to go in a quote book. Like, it's that good. So, Jeff, I almost didn't want to look at this comment. Like, I see it's you and I see something about 0, and I was like, meh, we're going to be a dip below 0 this weekend. Thanks, Brooke. Well, the weather is drunk, so I guess it just went your way and it needs to go home at this point. But I want to start with some of Shawn's takeaways here. Obviously, he was the wonderful guest star in this episode and just crushed it here. So one thing in particular, it's funny he wrote this down as one of his takeaways, because those that have known me long enough know when I would go through and do BDC training and all of that, I would always say, like, slow down and read the lead. That's something I would say all the time. And that was one of his takeaways. And when we talk about this, is that not so much now with OEMs, but you saw a lot of pressure from OEMs saying you need to answer the lead in like 30 seconds. Well, the problem with that is that, all you're doing at that point is stopping the clock to suffice what someone is telling you to do. And the consumer on the other end, we've all been victimized of those autoresponders that don't answer a single thing that we ask, or not addressing the questions we ask, not addressing anything, or actually taking the time to say, hey, looking at this, here's some better ways to approach this. I always give the Ford F-150 example of how many freaking trims are on an F-150. And more times than not, you probably don't even have that in stock, and you can't even order it. But yet we're going to send out an auto thing to a consumer saying, oh, we don't have that in stock. And then as soon as the customer sees it, they're going to tune out. So instead, taking that a little bit further and say, hey, explain the process, that how a third-party tool may work, that it's going to default to this trim that we may not have. A lot of my satisfied customers like to also look at this trim instead. But taking that time, I'm really big on, I don't want to say stalking based on the earlier conversations we had when this episode began, but doing your due diligence and doing your homework to say, hey, I can see Brooke seems to have a bit of an addiction with shoes. If I know that, then how I approach that customer is different than someone that likes dogs. When Brooke comes in, I'm going to have a screensaver of Jordan's on there. We're going to start talking MJ and the Bulls and everything between, like start talking about kicks versus if, they love golden retrievers and then put a gold, people are buying people at the end of the day. So take the time to understand what they're submitting to you before you go on and just vomit on them some template that you get one chance at it and you've just screwed it up. Looking to see where that email is coming from. If I know the email is at EDU, for instance, we know it's an education. So they could be a teacher. They could be a student versus something else. My very first email ever was Juno. I'm going to date myself for a hot second. So if I see that person's got a Hotmail or Juno, that also honestly tells me something about them. And Jeff was saying, I was in an elevator with an F-150 and it just started staring. I was like, what is that? Dude, I would have taken an F-150 to this guy. Like, it was creepy as hell. I look forward to bumping into you. And a day, most definitely, Jordan and Peter. My recovery from surgery. Hold up. Russell, rewind here. How did I miss you had surgery, buddy? Hope you're doing well. So I did not know this. Red beans and rice. I just hope everything's going well. I did not know you had surgery. So sending lots of good vibes your way, bud. So bottom line of all this is take the time to slow down, see where the consumer is, even from a geographical location. You may be in Chicago like I am, but I see this leads coming in from Wisconsin. Well, okay, why is that customer submitting a lead from Wisconsin and having that conversation? It also tells the consumer that, hey, I care. I'm going to look at this. Micah, I see you. Micah, oh my gosh, it'll be good to see you, bud. How to demo is a blend of science and art that is rooted in a relationship. Micah, so we're going to go on that comment and go off the rails because that's what we do and it's Friday. And I just got to ask you, as someone that's a pretty kick-ass salesperson, would you be asking any single person at this given time, the Friday before NADA, to take a demo? Not at NADA, but to take a demo today or Monday. I have received so many different requests to have demos this week. I'm like, do you understand NAD's next week? I don't have time to sleep. I'm not eating because I don't have time for this. But you want me to take a demo right before NADA? It's a bit of a pet peeve of mine. But I don't see you doing that, Micah. More like, hey, let's connect to NADA. No, let's just share. Yeah. So anyways, there's been a lot of that. Larry, good to see you, bud. Great talking to me last night. It's been, it was a little bit since talking to you. It's always good to talk to you. TMI was a hernia. No, that's not TMI, man. That's always, hernia surgery. That's depending what type of hernia it was. That's good luck with that. I hope that recovery is going as well as possible for that. Russell had surgery yesterday and he's here. Shawn's got a mad cold and in bed. Yeah, everyone's just out of commission right now, whether BDB or B2C. And Micah, see, this is why we're best friends here, is that you wouldn't do this. You do everything at NADA and knock it out of the park there. You're not asking someone to take a demo less than a week before NADA. I've had so many of them flowing in. I don't know what's going on. What I meant to say, I was looking forward to visiting with Peter and John. Okay, good, Jordan, gotcha. That makes sense now. Makes sense. So the other portion is that, Shawn, I'm going to actually read from here. What you're currently doing is giving you what you currently have. Don't be afraid to reach out for guidance. And that he had a couple of good quotes, and that happened to be one of them that I really liked. Is, if we're just going to keep doing the same thing and over again, expect the same outcomes. If you want to change, you're going to have to change what you're currently doing to have a different outcome. So I really like that one. He said also audit your technology every couple months, man. That is, for those that are BZ Consultants clients, this is something we do very, very regularly, to a point that it's just like, holy crap, like we do this a lot, is going through and looking at, is this working for us? Does this continue to have the same integration that it used to? Are we doing what we need to be doing? Is that technology doing what it's supposed to be doing? Jeff is saying, and a pro tip, the other 360 days of the year, all of those vendors will come to you for free. Yes, they will. Yeah. And speaking of tips, I got to know, everyone, what is your shoe choice? Because that's, obviously that will be all weekend trying to figure out my shoe choices for the next 10 days. But what are y'all wearing? Are we doing Jordans? Are we doing Dunks? Are we doing something else, like some designer shoe? What are we doing? Because it'll be interesting to see how this one compares to NADA in Vegas, and how many, we still put in 15 miles a day. We'll find out there. Going on to the next one, he says, deputize your employees and create champions, especially with the, I think he means especially, let's say, especially with AI. I'm not sure what he meant there, but especially with AI. And that is like, you need to have a champion in the store. Even when I was on the vendor side, well, I still am on the vendor side, but when you go in and you're trying to teach someone something or install a new product, you've got to have those champions. So even when it comes to, we'll say, video, I mean, there might be 2 or 3 that speaking. When I was in the dealership, we had a couple of employees that were awesome at videos, though they were the champions. And as more and more people saw, like, hey, they're coming and they're asking for Brooke all the time, I want to be a part of that. So really looking at that to say, who is your champion in house? Because you really do need that. And then that person can help other people and help them along the way. Micah, you're wearing Hoka's. So Micah, with the Hoka's, so I was shocker in a doctor's office this week, and they have Hoka's there that you can now go like HSA on them, but it's only if you buy them at the doctor's office. So I don't know of how many doctor's offices are doing this, but that was a very interesting. I've never seen running shoes that were at the doctor's office that you could do through like not pay anything for it, which I was like, oh, that's interesting. So I've got for sure I'll bring my Asics. I've got the I've got the Nimbus and the Nova Blast, and then I'll bring a bunch of pair of Jordans. So that's what I'm rocking there, Micah. Going into some of my takeaways here is just when we look at the BDC, and I see this more times and more often than I can count, is the silos. The silos drive me bonkers. It's so bad that, hey, you sit over here, we're never going to talk to you. So really having that alignment between your BDC and all the other departments, like, it's really, really key. If BDC is just, you've turned it into a call center, okay, there's that idea. But how are you going to take that and work seamlessly throughout all the departments? It's the communication. Too many times you go in as well, and it's like, we don't even know what the BDC does. We don't know how to hold them accountable. We don't know what they're doing. Yeah, those are all very, very, very real things. I'm gonna step away for a second. If I duck out for a moment, it's only because I'm practicing my elevator etiquette. All you have to do, Jeff, is not be a psycho. That's all you have to do to not have what happened to me. Very crazy. Flux footwear is another. Oh, really? Okay, nice. Yeah, yeah, the whole shoe situation, man, it's going to take a minute to get through all that. But some of the other things that, as we talked about, one thing I really liked what Shawn was saying was to understand what success looks like to your BDC. So we're looking at it, and if your whole thing is we just want appointments, we'll understand what's going to happen because of that. When you say I only want appointments and it's appointments made, the pay plan is such that that's going to incentivize that. So when you say we're only going to pay on appointments, they are then just going to put appointments in the system, whether they're good, bad, ugly, whatever. They're only going to put that in. Okay, well, we're only going to do this. Okay, well, why did you ever create the BDC? Was it to get people in the door? Was it to sell more? Was it to answer phone calls? Like, what is it, the purpose of the BDC? And then from there, you can accordingly make your reporting, make your processes. We always go back to the pay plan on this. It's not just BDC, it's sales, it's everyone. If we incentivize X, we're going to get X out of there. If we incentivize Y, which is, okay, they're going to probably incentivize at that point. Well, we are going to incentivize people skating the BDC because, oh, well, they booked the appointment, but I also get paid on the appointment. And so I'm going to put this one in as well. So really go back and look at your BDC and say, what is it we're trying to get out of this? And a lot of times when Shawn and I talked about it, we say, and he goes in, it's like, oh, everything's broken. Okay, if everything's broken, what is the purpose of the BDC in your dealership? And it can be, it's different for everybody. What is the purpose of that? And then from there, build out accordingly. We talked about the tools. We talked about that, BDC must-haves. And then once again, just measuring and scaling your BDC, like that is such a big one that, once again, it's because it was, the BDC is a lot of times seen as a redheaded stepchild, that we're just going to throw them in an office that was originally made for one person and put 10 people in there. They don't have room to breathe, let alone move around. And they usually don't even have the right technology in place to do what needs to be done. So I go a lot of times, I'm looking at BDCs and they're being asked to do videos. They don't have a camera. They don't have a mic. They don't have anything, but yet they're told they need to do X, Y, and Z. Or let's jump on a Zoom call, whatever video conference call it is, and they don't have a webcam. So they can't do that. They don't have speakers. Incentivize the desired outcomes: appointment rate, show rate, sold, and revenue. And I agree with that 100%. Micah, our mutual friend in Duran Cage, I was talking to him, God, this is a while ago. He was on the show probably 6 months ago, if not longer. And he goes, we started switching up some of the stuff we were doing to what we wanted to see. We knew that digital retailing tool for that store that he was working with was going to lead to a better outcome of those leads sold. So they changed the pay plan to say, all right, every time you send out the DR tool, blah, blah, link to it, that's how they were getting paid. And what they saw was they actually increased their sales, they increased ROI. It was just a little tweak of how we're incentivizing. So once again, if I know that I'm going to get money on XYZ, I'm only going to do that, especially in today's age. We're going to do the bare minimum for the most part, and that's it. So look to see what it is that you want to get out of your BDC and then incentivize accordingly. Also do the same thing with your sales. Yes, you want them to sell, but if you're also saying we're going to only on appointments and then they don't want to split, and you really have to go back and say, because that is the groundwork right there of how people are going to function is how they're getting paid. So they will work that pay plan until there is no tomorrow. So what else do we have here? We've got the alignment. We talked about the silos. We talked tools. There are so many tools out there. I mean, hell, like I said, I'm going to be at the dealer funnel booth. I think they've got a great AI tool there. And I do believe that this is the gospel according to Brooke, the AI. It's not replacing the BDC. It's just making their job a lot easier. Instead of sending out 10,000 text messages a month or 10,000 emails, it can do it for you. So will we ever get to a point that it takes over BDC? I don't know. I think you still have to have the human in place. So you've got a point person to say, even if you outsource your BDC, you need a point person to say, all right, when we can't get a hold of Billy, we can't get a hold of Brooke over here or whomever, who are we going to call? Ghostbusters, obviously, but who are we going to call or text or whatever to say, I need someone in-house to take care of this. So you always need that human aspect, in my opinion. I do think by the end of the year, we're going to be a lot closer to streamlining this and letting the BDC make important phone calls and not a phone call, a text, an email because the CRM told them to do it, which is for someone that just bought it. My lease was up. We've talked about this before. My lease was just recently up, and I am getting a dealership I have not stepped foot in 3 years is bombarding me with messages. And the only reason they're doing it, one, they want my car, but the car's gone. It's already been grounded at another location. And they just continue to call and badger me when there was never a chance I was ever going to purchase from them based on a lot of other things. But they're doing it, one, because the CRM is telling them to do that. I will get 3 phone calls in one day from this dealership. It is nuts. And we've got Ian saying, see you at the show live, best even. Okay, Ian, I'll see you there, buddy. Good to see you. And Brian Ortega, you have officially made it into the chat here, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Love the new AI. Speaking of AI, I love that your new commercial. It looks awesome. I texted you right before this show began about the shoes. I can't tell you if those are comfortable or not, but Godspeed on them. They do look like a mixture between like the twos and something else. But I don't know in comfort level how they're going to be. So I wish I could help you. And I apologize. It took me 24 hours to get back to you on that text message. It has just been psycho. But considering that Shawn's not here, and he is here in spirit, but not physically here, and it's Friday, as we all know, but we're going up against NAD next week. I'm gonna get out of here. You guys have some time back. Enjoy. I really hope that I will see everyone next week. Like I said, we'll be at the dealer funnel booth doing the live show. We'll be there Friday and Saturday morning / afternoon. Stop by. It's a booth 8345. Not that you're going to remember that number. That's okay. Anytime someone says the booth number, I'm like, there's no way in hell I will ever remember that. But it is there, and hopefully I'm going to see everybody there. And Brian ain't about comfort. It's the looks. NAD, you probably want comfort, buddy. But yes, if you like them, have at it. I'm not super familiar with that shoe just because it's I'm more of a number shoe type of gal. But no, I'm sure it's a Jordan, so it'll be comfort. It'll be comfy and it looks cool. So you should be good to go on that one. With that, everyone, I'm gonna head out of here. I am gonna go back to the mayhem of trying to wrap everything up for NADA. And like I said, I hope to see everyone next week. Obviously, we're going to be off next week for the show. And then the following week's the end of the month. So we'll be off of there as well. But we'll be back in 2 weeks. And I don't remember who's on in 2 weeks, but it's some amazing guests because all my guests are freaking awesome and they're amazing. And I can't ask for any other one. Peter, looking forward to seeing you as well. Very much looking forward to seeing you as well. With that, everyone, you know the drill at this point. Find a way to serve. Find a way to just be the joy in someone's life, to bring a little bit of happiness into their life that they may not have had without speaking with you. And with that, everyone, we will see everybody next week.